All praise to the Most High Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom Yasharala.
Shalom, shalom.
All right, and welcome back to another episode of Where's That in the Bible? All right, so we are going to start off with this right here. And let me share my screen. And we're going to start with this right here, the nun. I would like for somebody to show me where is a nun found in the Bible. Where is there a nun? What scripture can you point me to that displays a nun or shows the presence of a nun? All right. Now, what I want people to see is the nun, what we know today as the nun, is nowhere found in the Bible. But when we look in Roman times, we see a similar shalom. We see a similar,
Custom.
similar custom. Thank you for that. I was stuck. Yeah, so we see a similar custom, right? And so let's take a look at that. So this right here is what's called in the Roman times a Vestal Virgin, right? All right. So now, if you know anything about a nun is prohibited from having sex, right? A nun would be a virgin, one who abstains from marriage and all the other stuff, right? So back in the Roman times, there was this thing called a Vestal nurse, right? So what was a Vestal nurse? I mean, a Vestal virgin. Sorry, what was a Vestal virgin? What was their duties? Right. So let's take a look at something real quick. And it says, what are the duties of the Vestal virgins? And it says the temple of. Let me see if I could zoom in on this as much as I can. Okay, cool. So it says the temple of Vesta, named after goddess of the hearth, was once home to the Vestal virgins. Who was these women and what did they do? It says nestled in the bustling city of Rome sits the ancient world of Roman Forum, a labyrinth of ruins. The overgrown grassland is scattered with crumbling buildings, half destroyed statues, and all right. So it's saying basically, all right. So who were the Vestal Virgins? They became one of the most exclusive cult groups of Rome, being entirely made up of women who lived on the top of um, Palatine Hill, an ancient temple on the House of Vestals. Women were only accepted into the cult if they were completely pure beings, i.e., the virgin status. They have seen a magical being to Romans, is the most powerful woman in the entire Roman Empire. Okay, so
Yo,
let's.
which is interesting because this popular the most popular pop celebrity would be Madonna. I mean, back in the days you had Michael Jackson, but as far as females, Madonna would have to be the all-time in Babylon the Great. And what was her first great hit? It was called Like a Virgin. Like a Virgin,
Mm,
and her name is Madonna. Her
mm,
stage name is Madonna. So we got to consider that if this was not purposely put out there in the media, it was perhaps Satan putting that out there because it's too much of a coincidence that Madonna, which is means Mary was the Madonna, and which is a title actually applied to her later in history. And her first great hit was Like a Virgin. And what was Madonna? She was anything but a virgin. She was slut.
Khan,
She was a prostitute figure, even in the video. So I thought
Khan,
that I'd add that in, that we gotta keep these things in, and even in media history, pop history, music history, they throw these Vestal Virgin type imagery up in there.
Khan. So right here on the second paragraph, um, Let me see if I can highlight it real quick right here. So it says the Vestal virgins were priestess to the Roman goddess Vesta, who was the goddess of the earth, the home, and domestic life. She was one of the main deities to the Romans and was said to protect the city from any harm. However, to thank and honor Vesta from protecting a city, a magical fire was lit and given to the king in 700 BC. The fire was to be kept lit until the end of time, or else the region will be vulnerable to fall thereof. A group was formed to be responsible for this vital job, forever to be known as Vestal Virgins. So these Vestal virgins will keep a flame going for this goddess. That was their duties, right? Vestal virgins. So this is where we get our nuns from. Vestal virgins. This is where we get our modern day Catholic nuns from. Remember, Catholic is a Roman religion, and this is the same religion that's being kept. The only thing today is being kept under another name, which is Christ. See what I'm saying? But it's still the same thing. It's still the same duties. Still the same common, right? I want to go into another one, which is another topic, which is called a priest, right? A Catholic priest. What is a Catholic priest like this freaking pedophile looking guy? What is his um title, right? Besides a priest, they call them fathers, right? Matthew 23:9 says, "And call no man your father upon the earth, for one is your father which is in heaven." So we see that they're being called fathers, but in the Bible it says don't call no man father. So why is it that the Catholic Church still allows this type of language to be calling these people fathers when they're not supposed, according to the Messiah, you are to call no one father? See what I'm saying? These people are doing their own thing. But now let's go back to these priests. Um, so you see this regular pedophile dude here, and but then when you look at these guys, for example, how they have these hats on, right? These hats, these weird shaped hats. Now, does anyone question where do these hats come from? Right? Where where are what's the origin of these hats? Right? These hats that they wear. What's the origin of these hats? Does anyone know? And where is these hats found in scripture? Well, this is where these hats come from the priest of Dagon. That's where we get these hats from. It's the same type of hat, same style, same everything, which represents a fish. And Dagon, excuse me, Dagon was the fish god. But it's ironic how the symbol today for Christ is the fish. And then these priests, they wear this hat that's a fish, right? Like the mouth of a fish. So this is where the Catholic religion, you can see in their customs that it's pagan customs, it's pagan idolatry, it has a pagan origin to everything that they do. Everything they do goes far off into paganism. Now, I want to go back to the nun for a second. The nun who is to be called a virgin, right? These nuns that are to be called virgins, right? So there's a scripture, and I want to get the scripture which is right here, which is First Timothy 4:2, starting at 4:2, and it says, "Speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron." Verse 3, forbidding to marry. Forbidding to marry. So they tell these nuns that they are not allowed to have um marriages, right? They're to stay away from marriage. This is hypocrisy and lies. For nowhere are you told to stay away from marriage in the scriptures. As a matter of fact, one of the commandments from the Most High is that you marry and be fruitful.
Yeah, let me read that. I got it here. Genesis 1:22, and Elohim blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply." And that was about the, but then, about the animal kingdom. Genesis 1:28, Salakia. And Elohim blessed them. Elohim said unto them, "Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth." So that's the point.
Khan.
That's contrary to what the teaching is, this nun order, the Catholic Church, forbidding to marry, meaning forbidding to do what's written of in Genesis 1:28, which is part of the Torah.
Khan, they're neglecting the basic commandment from the Most High, which Paul here says is forbidding to, is lies and hypocrisy. You know what I'm saying? Forbidding to marry. Now, let's I want to
Actually, you see the next thing that Paul talks about, and commanding to abstain from meats, which jumps right back into the Catholic Church tradition, where in the Lent season, I believe it's the Lent season, they don't eat meat on so Good Friday.
Khan, that's Good Friday. Telling people, that's another thing that's not found in the Bible is Good Friday. Telling people, yeah, you're not supposed to eat any meats. You know what I'm saying? If anything, you can eat fish. Last time I checked, fish is meat. Fish is it's flesh.
God.
It's flesh, regardless of what you think of it. It's flesh. Flesh is something that was living, something that's living, right? Fish live, animals live. Therefore, fish and meat are the same. They're both flesh.
Yeah, when Most High speaks
Both have
about
blood
all
in it.
flesh, they don't. He's not excluding fish, but he says all flesh. When
Correct.
the Most High
Correct. So they tell you you can't eat meat on Good Friday, but you can eat fish. First off, there's nowhere in the scriptures that's that's not a law, it's not a commandment, it's nothing, it's not even in the Bible. But then that's what the Catholic Church would tell you. You see what I'm saying? These people are crazy. These people are crazy. Then they tell you not to marry, right? All right. This is first First Corinthians 7 and verse 25, starting at 725 at the in the NLT. I want to read out of the NLT for a second. So it says verse 25. Now regarding your question about the young women who are not yet married, I do not have a command from Yahweh for them, but Yahweh in his mercy has given me wisdom that can be trusted, and I will share it with you. So this is not a commandment what he's about to say, right? But people take everything that Paul says as a commandment. Got to be careful, because everything that he says is not a commandment. It's more of an advice. So he says, verse 26, because of the present crisis, I think it's best to remain as you are. The crisis. What was the present crisis that was going on in the time of Paul? The present crisis was that they were being persecuted. So watch what it says. Verse 27. If you have a wife, do not seek to end the marriage. If you do not have a wife, do not seek to get married. Now, in the present crisis, why would I not seek to get married? Because if I'm doing the work of the Most High at this time and I'm pushing Christ at this time, had a weariness of death, of being put to death, of being persecuted. So go and get a newlywed and a new wife, and then be put to death. How much pain would that cause that woman? You see what I'm saying? That this is something that he was saying because of the present crisis. I think it's best to remain as you are.
Yak, I got a precept to back you up.
Go
It's
ahead,
in
bring
the
it
book
up.
of Matthews 11, verse 12. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. There was the Roman presence in the land of Israel. They would do what they like with the women, with the men. So that was the
Con,
present crisis as well. Not only the brothers that was entering into so-called ministry of Yahushai, but also the population of the people. You know what I'm saying? And if you think about it, it was only going to be a good like 60 something years after this when the Roman persecution will go up to the next level. And I lead up to 70 AD with the downfall of Jerusalem and the state of Israel, the ancient state of Israel. So basically, you're gonna marry, get old with your wife for the Romans come and put you to death and take your kids into slavery.
con. And that's like why he says in verse 28. If you read verse 28, it says, "But if you do get married, it is not a sin. And if a young woman gets married, it is not a sin. However, those who get married at this time will have troubles. I am trying to spare you those problems."
God,
So
yeah, that was
in
Jacob's trouble too. That was
time, kind of being persecuted all over for the belief in Christ. So we're in today's time. There's no such thing. Everybody can marry freely. You're not being persecuted for believing in Christ, because today anybody could believe in Christ. So to abstain from marriage, as the Catholic Church will have you do, is an absolute blasphemy. It goes against the commandments. And even in Paul's time, he wasn't telling you not to get married. He was just saying, look, it's my advice that because of what's going on in the world today that we live in, it's best to just stay as you are. You see what I'm saying? So so there's no reason or no need for a so-called Vestal Virgin to be as a nun today. You see what I'm saying? You're using this, propagating this false identity and this pagan identity in today's times. You see that just goes to show you that the Catholic Church is nothing but paganism.
y'all. Check this out. I got a precept in Jeremiah 29 for the point you made about we're not facing any kind of crisis, immediate crisis. Let's just put it up there like that. Look at Jeremiah 29 and verse 5. That was Babylon the Great back then. You know what I'm saying? I mean, excuse me, Babylon, captivity of Babylon, and we're in Babylon the Great. So look at the instructions Jeremiah told the people. He said, "Build ye houses and dwell in them, and plant gardens and eat the fruit of them."
You're
Verse
breaking you're
6.
breaking up a little,
What about now? I'm gonna keep reading till I get it. Build ye
yeah,
houses is good,
yeah, you good.
and dwell in them, and plant gardens and eat the fruit of them. Take ye wives and beget sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons, and give your daughters to husbands. You see that? So
Con.
that's how we think now today in Babylon the Great, just like Jeremiah told our people back then. Now, in Paul's case, he's seen there was an immediate crisis that was going to go on. So we can move on with the lessons. Understand Catholic Church is way off on that interpretation.
Con. So far we spoke about the nuns, how that's not in the Bible. We spoke about how a Catholic priest being called father is against the scriptures. We talked about nuns and priests not marrying, right? And abstaining from marriage, and how that's not in the Bible and actually against the scriptures. We spoke about if we go back to 1 Timothy 4:3, it says forbidding to marry and commanding to abstain from meats. That's that Good Friday, right? They tell you, oh, you can't eat meats. So we covered 4 quick topics in 20 minutes. of things that the Catholic Church does that's not in the Bible. 4 things in 20 minutes.
God.
That just goes to show you that there's an abundance of things that the Catholic Church and the Christian Church does, because the Catholic and Christian is the same thing. Catholic and Christian Church does that's not in the Bible. There's an abundance of things, and we can keep going. You see what I'm saying? Like, you could easily keep going. And since we took care of those 4 topics in like 20 minutes, I think it's, it's only right that we do.
In the etymology website, the word none, they expose it too. Also, the word pope, it goes right into what you were saying, and none definitely has some cuts. And this is in the last days, the Most High has given us these tools, not only the Holy Bible, but these websites where they break down the word. This is what people should be looking into. The word none in the etymology, I'll tell you where it comes from. It does not go back into the Torah, into the scriptures.
Right. That's all about paganism. And like I said, those Vestal virgins, that's exactly where it comes from. That's
Let
the
me just read.
origin.
Let me just read it real quick.
Yeah.
None. Old English. None. Woman devoted to religious life. So far, nothing about the Torah, right? Religious life. There's many religions under vows of celibacy, poverty, and obedience to a superior. Nothing so far about the Torah. Also, Vestal, pagan priestess.
You see
So,
that? You see that?
yep. This is the time we're living in the time of revelation. Now, people don't realize that everything is out there. There's no
Right.
excuse anymore. I don't understand what you guys are talking about. Well, if you have a smartphone, you can look these websites up. These things been around for like several years now. I've
Mm-hmm.
been checking out this website for years. These people go deep into words. This is the English language. It has been studied for a long time. So none goes back to Vestal, pagan priestess from the late Latin nonna, nun, tutor, originally along with a term of address to elderly persons, perhaps from children's speech, reminiscent of nana from the Sanskrit nona, Persian nana, mother, Greek nana, aunt. All right, so it keeps going. Serbian, Croatian nana, nena, mother. Italian, they call their grandmothers nonna, and Welsh is nain. You see that this is just going back to
Wow.
a cult, and then later in history it got applied to women, certain titles of women. It has nothing to do with the Bible.
Wow. Wow. See that? See that, man? This is what I'm trying to say. Like, this is exactly what I'm trying to say. Like none of this stuff that the Catholics do, you know what I'm saying? All the Christians do is biblically found. It's all stuff that was made up and taken from paganism. All of it. All of it. And we're gonna touch on another one right here. And check this out. This right here. Queen of Heaven, right? I don't know why they showing me so Queen of Heaven. um how many look what it says. Look what it says. Queen of Heaven is one of many queen titles used of Mary, mother of Jesus.
So even as when someone looks it up, they're being lied to off the back out the gate.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Now watch this. Let's go into the blue data, right? And watch this. Watch this. So Queen of Heaven. So when you look at these Catholic idiots, right? They say that Mary is the Queen of Heaven, right? But the title Queen of Heaven existed way before Mary was even thought of. This is Jeremiah, right? 7 and 18. It says the children gather wood and the fathers kindle the fire, and the women knead their dough to make cakes to the queen of heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger. Right? Look at this. Jeremiah 44 and 18. But since we left off to burn incense to the queen of heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, we have wanted all things, and have been consumed by the sword and by the famine. Verse 19. And we burned incense to the queen of heaven. Yo, so let's see who this queen of heaven is. Right? Let's see who this queen of heaven is. The queen of heaven, right? So heaven, skies above, right? Um, as a matter of fact, this is how we're gonna find out. This is how we're gonna find out who the queen of heaven is. Right here. If we go down here. So the groves, right? The groves would actually tell you who the queen of heaven is. High places, images, grove. So check it out, right? Asherah grows for idol, a Babylonian Astarte, Canaanite goddess, the supposed consort of Baal. Her image is the goddesses, her images, sacred trees, poles, and altar. So Ashtoreth was always known as the queen of heaven, right? Let me see. Yeah, let's show you this real quick. So quick, got questions. The phrase "Queen of Heaven" appears in two passages, both in Jeremiah. The first passage deals with the things Israelites were doing to provoke. All right. This title is referred to Ishtar, an Assyrian. Let me zoom in so y'all can see this. Um, this title, right? I'm right here. It says this title is referred to Ishtar, an Assyrian and Babylonian goddess, also called Ashtoreth or Ashtoreth and Astarte by various other groups. She was thought to be the wife of the false god Baal, also known as Molech, the motivation of women, right? So the queen of heaven is Ashtoreth, which these were who they were burning incense to in the temple, and that was the queen of heaven, Ashtoreth. Ashtoreth being the consort of Baal. Yo, this is crazy. From look at what he says, right? um, from Egypt to Israel. Shalom, Ak. He says, look up the etymology of the word queen. Kanak is serious. I remember that, but let's do it anyway, right? Um, let's do it etymology, right? And let's go to right here. And we're gonna do queen. Let's see. Um, Middle English, primary noble consort, female sovereign woman ruling, right? Let's and refer to anything. But I know what you're saying though. The the yo, look at what Queen actually can be too. 1835, meaning male homosexual. Yo, this is crazy. Queen Queen is a harlot, a whore. Um Yeah, look, it says English is one of the few Indo-European languages have the word queen that is not a feminine derivative of word for king. The others are Scandinavian, Old Norse drotting, Danish droning, Swedish drotting queen, and Old Norse also mistress. All right, mistress. So a queen is also a mistress. What is a mistress? Right, a mistress is a whore, side chick, basically whore. You see, I'm kind of looking for the exact one though. But anyway, when you look into that, you would see that what exactly it means, and yeah, it goes into the word whore. But so just so we can see, this is crazy, like the words that are being used. But anyway, they call they call the Virgin Mary Queen of Heaven, right? And you know, let's really analyze that for a second also, right? Let's analyze that. Let's put that under the microscope for a second. Um Queen of Heaven. Okay. A mortal woman, right? Mary, a mortal woman. How can a mortal person be queen of a celestial and spiritual place? I just don't understand that. How is that possible? How can a mortal person be the queen of a celestial and spiritual place? Now, Queen of Heaven also, if you look at, you know, the colloquial term of queen, then that would mean that her king is who? The Most High, right? So which adds more to a confusion in a Catholic. Whoa, check this out. If Mary is the mother of Jesus or Yahweh, right? But for modern and for Christians and Catholics, this question is to you. If Mary is the Queen of Heaven and Jesus, her son, is God, are you saying that God impregnated his mother? Whoa. Whoa. Where is that in the Bible? That is incense. Incense. Yo, this is crazy. Your Catholic understanding is straight up freaking blasphemy. You calling Mary the Queen of Heaven and you calling her son God. But then you say God impregnated Mary. So wait a minute. So God impregnated his mother. That's basically what y'all saying. Y'all are crazy. That is absurd and blasphemy. I really think that a lot of people need to reevaluate what they learned from the Catholic Church and from mainstream religion. Period. Um, that whole concept right there of Mary being Queen of Heaven and God impregnating Mary, but God is Jesus. That's just crazy. That's just wild. I'm sorry. That's
Yeah,
wild.
check this out. This is First Corinthians 15, verse 50. Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Yahweh, neither doth corruption inherit incorruption. So it's impossible for her to have been the queen of heaven because flesh and blood cannot inherit that kingdom. So what are you talking about? When was Mary the queen of heaven? If flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of the Most High.
And you know what? That's crazy that you bring that up too, because if you ask a Christian that believes in the Trinity, they'll say that Jesus is fully God and fully human. How can he be fully human if, oh my gosh, bro. Yo, Christianity and Catholicism is straight up bugged out. I'm glad I'm not,
That's what
you
we
know.
call it, Twistianity we
Yeah.
call it. Because they
Yeah.
got to twist the scriptures to fit it into their Babylonian mythology.
And when you dissect it, right, like we're doing, when you do what we're doing and dissect that whole thing and break it down, you see the straight blasphemy in it all. Oh man, that just got my mind blown, bro. I'm like, I don't even know what else to say after that. Like my
Yeah.
mind is just blown right now, kid, for real.
Also, just to harp back on the Queen of Heaven, one read New Testament in the English, the word queen, it shows up in Matthew 12:42, Luke 11:31, right? Those two scriptures are referring to Egypt. It's speaking about a heathen kingdom, the queen of the south. Those two verses. Just to bring that out, that those are two times that the word queen appears in the New Testament. Mary appears in the New Testament. Obviously, she's not referred to as queen. We had the queen of the
Con,
south in those two verses, and I believe in two more verses, Acts 8:27, again about a heathen queen, Candace, the queen of the Ethiopians, in Acts
mm,
8:27. And to finish it up, Revelation 18:7 refers to Babylon the Great as a queen. I sit a queen and am no widow. But these are the four times the word queen appears in the New Testament, but never for Mary, the mother of Yahweh Shai, Jesus Christ.
con, con. You have no disciples or anything um calling her queen, queen of heaven, or mother. They don't even call her mother of God. You see what I'm saying? Like, but to the brother's point about the queen is right here. It says queen, Middle English queen or queen, a woman, a low-born woman. From Old English, woman, also female serf, hussy, prostitute. From Proto-Germanic quinon, Old Norse, Gothic, wife, woman, Middle Dutch, vain or worthless woman. So when you call yourself a queen, you're calling yourself a hussy or a prostitute or a worthless woman. Wow. Wow. So pay attention to those words, right? All right. So going back to, because this Queen of Heaven stuff, I think what I just said right here, what the stuff that the way I broke it down with, if Mary is the Queen of Heaven, and then Jesus is God, that means Jesus impregnated his own mother. That's insane, bro. That's blasphemy. You Christians and Catholics, y'all really gotta reanalyze what it is that y'all saying, because that's just blasphemy. It is. It really is. Not only that, right? But if Mary's the Queen of Heaven, Joseph was her husband. Does that make Joseph the King of Heaven? Or did the Queen of Heaven commit adultery? Right? Because if the Queen of Heaven is, is married to God and that's her king, then that means that she committed adultery with Joseph. You see, either way, you see what I'm saying? Either way, you flip that, you could flip that, bounce that in so many ways and still end up with um the same conclusion, that it's blasphemy. So what the church is doing is crazy. It's crazy, man. And then we wonder why this world is so twisted. Because look at the like the brother Iraq was saying before we went live. It was like there's a vibration that they're pushing, and that vibration is going throughout the whole earth. Is going out through the music, through the TV. I'm not sure if anybody, this is a side note, but it's just going to what I'm saying. I'm not sure if anybody has been paying attention to that new Fresh Prince of Bel-Air series that just came out. But if you watch it, um they got Carlton as a drug head, as a drug addict. They got Ashley as a freaking lesbian, and then they got what is it? Hillary. Hillary's like this thought, you know what I'm saying? That's trying to do anything for money. But when you go back into the original Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, none of that was happening. So now they twisting this and sending out this vibration. And this is how they send out that vibration through the world, is through all this blasphemy. You see what I'm saying? So we gotta keep your eyes open, man.
Yeah, at one point, the only new media we had at one point was actually the church. You know what I'm saying? At one point, the church was where we got our information from. before there was actual TV and newspapers, you go back enough in history, where do you get information from? Was the church. People went congregated at a church. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Government was government, but that was a community gathering. The church.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In the ancient world, obviously, it was righteous, and then as the generations passed, we get to Babylon the Great. Especially when the Spaniards came over here, they established these churches. This is where we got our information. They were
And yeah,
media, so to
you're
speak.
right. You're right. And just a bit of information for everyone. Especially this certain scoffer that I have who keeps trying to say that the Catholic Church wrote the Bible or made the Bible, right? This is for this scoffer and for anybody else who's interested in this little piece of history that I'm about to bring out. When the Bible was compiled, when the Bible finally was compiled, so the Old Testament have been was been compiled way before any Council of Nicaea. But when the rest of the books, meaning the New Testament, was added into this whole one book called the Bible, um, no one could read it. Everyone was subjugated to the church. If you wanted to know about the Bible, you had to go to church and you had to let one of these priests, these pagan priests, break down the Bible to you. It wasn't until Tinsdale and Wycliffe decided to translate the Bible so that for the modern person or for the average person to read, and they were persecuted for this and burnt at the stake by the Catholic Church. So anybody boasting about, oh, the Catholic Church compiled the Bible, you damn devil. If you knew anything about your Catholic Church, you would knew that they were persecuting people, and you today would not be allowed to read that Bible if it wasn't for people like Wycliffe and Tinsdale, who had burnt at the stake for translating that Bible so that your average person can read it. See what I'm saying? So if you boasting about your Catholic Church and then how Council of Nicaea compiled the Bible and made it into one big book, you're a demon. You're a devil. You see what I'm saying? You're a devil, and you need to realize the history of your Catholic Church, which is nothing but paganism, nothing but blasphemy coming out of that church. But it's to the point to where our people are so gullible and so dumb that they follow anything that the white man tells you. They follow anything that the status quo says. And if you're a white man with a suit, or if you're any man that represents the status quo or the norm, then you're gonna be followed. But as long as if you go against anything that goes against the norm, you're looked at as a heretic. You see what I'm saying? But what y'all need to understand is that these people like Tinsdale, Wycliffe, King James, they took chances to get this Bible out to the average person, which the Catholic Church was trying to stop, even made laws to stop this and putting people to death. But y'all want to boast about the Catholic Church was the one who compiled the Bible, which is false, which is completely false, because you need to look up the Council of Carthage. You need to look up Hippo, who was the first person, who was the first people, the first Old Testament was compiled, was the Septuagint in translation wise. But before that, the Old Testament by 70 AD, the Old Testament had been compiled. You see what I'm saying? And then converted, translated into Greek, which is the Septuagint. A lot of people don't understand the history of the Bible.
Bring it out.
And and I think if you call yourself a believer, you better start doing some research and
Yeah,
stop giving all this credit to these damn Edomites who, if they had it their way, you wouldn't even have a Bible today.
that's right. Yak, I
You
got this a piece of information from a book because you had mentioned that they would even what you said about that Jew, the scoffer, that he wouldn't even be allowed to read the Bible.
Con.
So I think he's of Mexican descent. So this is a world exclusive. You know, I've had this book for a minute, a little
Bring it out.
while. I'm not
Bring it
even gonna
out.
bring the title out. I'm gonna give it to my brother Yashar, and because there's a lot of people trying to get the knowledge, but you can't handle this knowledge. Just put it like that. You can't handle the truth. Check this out. I'm not even gonna read the title of the book. In 1555, the First Council of Mexico explicitly forbade the admission to orders of anyone of Moorish race, right? And this was taken to cover Indians, mestizos, those partly of Spanish and partly of Indian blood, and mulattoes, those partly of Negro origin. One or two exceptions seems to have been made. So we have heard of one Indian that has been ordained, right? So yet in practice, the rule was kept, and all the religious orders seem to have had equally strict rules, closing the door of their membership to all those who were not of pure European stock.
See that? You see
So
that?
what you got to say, Mexico out there? I know who you are. Talk about you're bigging up the Catholic Church. When they came out here in 1555, they would have slammed the door in your face, if not put a bullet in your damn head for trying to come up in there and try to be part of an order, of a Catholic
Yes.
order. And so people got to do their own research on that. I mean, you could rewind the video. I gave the origin of that. It's from 1555, and yes, it is on the internet.
Yo, that was beautiful. That's beautiful. That just goes to show these people that, you know, oh my gosh, I was gonna say something so crazy right now. But you bow down to the white man so bad that you believe everything they say, and that's such, you know, it says a lot about people like that. You know what I'm saying? It says a lot. It says a lot about people like that, man. This scoffer, this Catholic scoffer don't know crap, but he's so busy bending down and bending over to this Catholic church that he just don't know what the hell he's talking about. And that's sad. That really is sad. It really is. It really is. And and so this is why we do these videos. We want to educate y'all and edify y'all on the truth. Whether you like it or not. You know what I'm saying? I understand a lot of people don't like it. I get it. I understand. But at the same time, is it us that you don't agree with, or is it the truth that you don't agree with? Because all we're doing is giving you truth. We're coming out the Bible, we're coming out of history, and we're giving you the stuff that we're how can I say it? I'm trying to look for a certain word, like the stuff that we've been investigating and finding. This is we're bringing it to the people. So I understand that there's a lot of people who follow Christianity and Catholicism, and they hate what we say because what we say goes against what they believe. But I'm sorry, when the Messiah walked the earth, he was saying things to his own people that they didn't like, but it was the truth. And you know, if you hate the truth, then there's no light in you. You see what I'm saying? And you got to re-examine yourself and study. And I don't know. I'm sorry. This 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 type of stuff has my mind blown. I'm still thinking about that Queen of Heaven thing. That's just crazy, bro.
Yak, I
It's
got a
crazy.
precept real quick. 1 John 2 verse 21. I have not written unto you because ye know not the truth, but because ye know it, and that no lie is of the truth.
Mm.
So yeah, so none, the order of nuns is not of the truth. The
Hey,
order of so-called fathers is not of the truth.
can you get? I think it's Isaiah 8:20. I think.
Con Isaiah 8 and 20,
I
it
think so.
says, uh to the law
Yes.
and to the
Yes. Yes.
testimony, if they, you Catholic Church, you churches of Christianity, if they speak not according to this word. What is this word? The book of Isaiah and everything that came prior, and then everything that came after. It is because there is no light in them. That is the light of wisdom given to us uh, by Yahweh and brought forth once again by Yahweh Shai.
Khan, all praises. Exactly. So we're speaking out of this. We're speaking to the law and to the testimony. And that's why people don't like. That's why a lot of you so-called Catholic people hate and can't stand that this is what this is what we're speaking to. If you don't like it, then you hate the Bible. If you don't like it, if you don't like God's laws, then you hate God. You see what I'm saying? And we went over this before. If you read Exodus chapter 20, it explains it right there that anybody who does not the commandments hates them. He hates the Most High. So, you know, this is just something that I can't get enough of harping on. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is going to be a redundant thing to the day we die, probably, because our people are so hard-headed. Um, so I don't know. I'm just, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But
Yo, Ak, let me read that thing about the Pope in the etymology.
Khan, bring it up. You
So,
want me to? You want me to bring it up on the screen?
yeah, pull it up, pull it up. It's important because it has also historical uh a reference, so we can get the proper context. All right, so it says the Bishop of Rome, right? So obviously they're gonna say Peter, Peter, Peter. Let's see if it's Peter. The Bishop of Rome as head of the Roman Catholic Church. Okay, 1200. What's going on here? So somebody has to explain to me why have they traced the word back to the year 1200? That is more than 1,000 years after the time of Peter. Let me read on. From Old English, Papa, which is obvious, right? From the 9th century, that's the 800s. That's still several hundred years after Peter. From Church Latin, Papa, which is obviously a bishop, pope. But if you look at the word bishop, that is not a translation of the term father, but they applied Papa to bishop because, yes, bishop is a title in the New Testament. However, it does not translate into Papa. You see how they're slick, how they threw that in there? Because bishop does not translate into Papa in no language, all right?
Right,
So
right.
it's just applied to that title. Okay, you can't force something. If the Bible says bishop, then you look up what is the title, what are the qualifications and the office of a bishop. You can't just put that's a
That's
father as
father.
well.
Right,
Nah,
right, right,
nah,
right,
I
right,
mean, that don't work like that, bro. So
right.
Papa, bishop, pope, in classical Latin, tutor. Okay, that would be a more appropriate, tutor. Right? That's nothing wrong with that. You're training someone in the law, statutes, and commandments, the testimony. Okay, that's cool. But this is the problem we have with the Catholic Church, because you apply things that are forbidden and then you try to switch things up. You know what I'm saying? From Greek papas, patriarch. Okay, see now how they try to throw patriarch in there. So who are these people patriarchs? I could walk down the street to the Catholic Church. Are they a patriarch? La.
They
They're
not
not
my they
patriarch.
not my patriarch.
Exactly. You could apply it to Abraham, Isaac, and
Abraham,
Jacob.
Isaac, and Jacob. Yeah, Khan.
Again, so boom, again, they threw bishop in there. This is all part of mind control and the changing of language. Originally, father, all right? So Papa or father was superimposed on a bishop, and they try to bring that ancient title of patriarch into someone that's supposed to be a tutor. Yahweh Shah already, you know, he crushed that from the gate. You're not supposed to do that. So let's just read on. Applied to bishops, applied by who? Every word counts. Applied by who? Who gave you the application? Who signed and sealed that application for you to apply it to bishops of Asia Minor? Because I believe these were Jakes going off. Because Esau was really getting overthrown in the Roman Empire at this time. So I believe these were people doing their own thing at this point.
Khan.
Applied to bishops of Asia Minor and taken. Once again, people got to know how to read into these words. Applied and taken. Taken as a title by what authority? Not the Bible. not the Bible. You agreed amongst yourselves back in this time. It says by the bishop of Alexandria, which was in Egypt, which were Christians, right? In Egypt in 250, they were going off. If that's, if this is the correct history, they were going off. In the Western Church, applied especially to the Bishop of Rome since the time of Leo the Great. Let's see the time, 440. Almost 500 years after Peter. You see this, Huck?
Yeah.
The time of Leo the Great, 440. You got a nerve to apply it to one of the apostles. The first great, the first great assertor of its privileges. Uh-oh. So we know there's a deep mystery in the Apocrypha talking about after 400 years, those who are with Yahweh Shai, you know, there's gonna be a silence, the truth will really be crushed on the earth. So look at the time we're looking at, the 400s, and claimed exclusively by them from 1073. So this is way after the apostles. So that's about it in that. I mean, that's point proven right there.
So what's clear evidence is that you have these people that have no authority to the scriptures taking authority over the scriptures, and then abusing the scriptures and abusing whatever little position they had to control the population, or the people, through the scriptures. Ain't nothing different how slavery was conducted. You know what I'm saying? The way they kept the slaves in check was by feeding them these misinterpreted scriptures, and that's exactly what the so-called church is doing and
And you know
been
what
doing.
proves that, Ark? Didn't the slave owners what they tell the slaves to call them? Master. What did
Master.
Yahweh Shai say not to call any man on earth? Master.
Right.
You see, the brother just said something that's exact on point, bro. Because the Catholic Church says, "Call us Father." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Call us Father. Which is a master, right? The father of a household is the
Right.
master of the house, and now the slave masters. I mean, the slave owners will call themselves master. So it's no different than slavery. One is a physical slavery.
And
One is a
there's a
mental slavery.
mental Khan. That was beautiful. Yep. Yep. Sun went up for the alley oop with that one. Yeah. Ah, telling you, bro. I'm telling you, man. This thing is crazy.
They can't run it high no more. This is gonna go out. Most High willing. This is what we got to speak to our family, bro. This is why the Spirit is giving us these things. Well, the time is running short. You know what I'm saying? The Catholic Church is about to be destroyed.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
whole the
hope.
whole ideology, the whole Christian Catholic ideology is done. I mean, the next thing we're gonna talk about after we so this is gonna this what where's that in the Bible? This is been a series. It's been starting to become a series where we're doing multiple episodes on this. We're gonna talk about on the next one, we're gonna talk about some festival days and all that. And I wanted to close it out with other so-called feast festival days at the Catholic and Christian Church. But honestly, I think the last one I want to do is salvation for all nations. Where's that in the Bible?
Yeah, we're just reading about Purim, where
Right.
the nations actually were slaughtered for going against God's people, and they had feasting and joy for salvation. You know what I'm saying? So this nothing new under the sun. Nothing has changed in the New Testament. The Purim feast and Memorial Day was about the takedown of the nations and the salvation of the nation of Israel.
Of Israel. Khan. So we're gonna go into that also. But all right, so we've been on for an hour already. I want to try to keep these lessons short, and because if not, we could stay here all day and going into more material. But stay tuned for the next episode of Where's That in the Bible, where we talk about certain feast days that these people celebrate and how there's nowhere in the Bible. So that should be on maybe Wednesday or maybe next Shabbat, right? Next Saturday. Um, and also tonight, tune in tonight for another class that we're gonna do, or not a class, but another topic of discussion that we're gonna talk about is the women in the Bible. All right. I don't think there's enough um Khan Shalawan. I don't think there's enough talk in the Bible, not amongst us, about the women in the Bible. So tune in tonight. That's tonight, I think at 7 o'clock. We're gonna talk about, me and the brother Iraq. We're gonna talk about, women in the Bible and how their roles are important or whatever. So tune in for that. For everyone that tuned in today, commented, I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all with 100%. All praises to the Most High Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Shabbat Shalom. And yeah, close out y'all Shabbat. Enjoy the rest of your Shabbat, y'all.
Shalom.
All right, Shalom, y'all.